Hello students, how are you? I hope you are staying safe and healthy. Yes, today we are going to start the 8th chapter. Today we are going to study the 8th chapter in the grammar textbook. And the title of our chapter is Verbs, Past Tense, Irregular Verbs. This is the title, Verbs, Past Tense, Irregular Verbs. And before we go into the chapter, let us recollect what we learned earlier. Yes, in the previous grade, you studied about regular verbs. Okay, let me ask you one question. What do you mean by regular verbs? Yes, the definition of regular verbs is verbs form the past tense by adding d, ed or ied are called regular verbs. Verbs form the past tense. Okay, we will get the past tense, we will get the past tense by adding d, ed or ied to the verb form. Okay, this is the regular verbs, and this one is the example. Played is an example of a regular verb. Regular verbs are verbs form the past tense by adding d, ed or ied. Okay, and we can divide the verbs into two, regular and irregular, and you already learned about regular verbs in your previous class, and today we are going to focus on this irregular verbs. Okay, irregular verbs. Yes, here you can see 4 pictures. Yeah, and 4 verbs is also already given here. In the first picture you can see a picture of a girl. Second one, you can see the picture of a flower. Next one, you can see a picture of a lady and a dog. Then next one, you can see a picture of a boy. Then 4 verbs are already given here. First one, study. Next is bloom. Next one, chase. Next is jump. And here you are asked to describe these pictures using the given verbs in their past tense form. This is a question. Describe these pictures using the given verbs. The verbs are study, bloom, chase and jump. Okay, these are the verbs, and describe these pictures using the given verbs in their past tense forms. Okay, in their past tense forms. Okay, let's try to find the answer. Okay, I'll help you. First one, Harshida studied for her exam. Here you can see a word in yellow. Yeah, this is the past form of the verb study. Studied is the past form of the verb study. Harshida studied for her exam. Look at the next picture. Here the verb is bloom, and you are asked to write a sentence. Use the past form of this verb. Yeah, the flower bloomed in the morning. The flower bloomed in the morning. Here bloomed is the past form of the verb bloom. Okay, next one. The dog chased the girl. Here the verb is chase, and you are asked to write a sentence by using the past form of the verb chase. The sentence is the dog chased the girl. Chased is a past form of the verb chase. Next one, Rehan jumped on the trampoline in the park. Okay, here jumped is the past form of the verb jump. And here look at this verbs again. Look at this past forms again. Studied, bloomed, chased and jumped. These verbs ends with ied or ed, then d. Okay, so these are the examples of regular verbs. These are examples of the verbs studied, bloomed, chased and jumped are the examples of regular verbs. Then verbs that, now we are going to see the definition of regular verbs. Verbs that talk about actions that have already taken place. Verbs that talk about actions that have already taken place and end with d, ed or ied and talk about past actions are called regular verbs in the past tense. Okay, this is the definition of regular verbs in the past tense. Okay, verbs that talk about actions that have already taken place and end with, this is another condition, and end with d, the letters d, ed or ied and talk about past actions are called regular verbs in the past tense. For example, Close. Yes. Can you say the past form of the verb close? Yes. Closed. Closed is the past form of the verb close. Next is picked. Picked is the past of the verb pick. Next is cried. This is the past form of the verb cry. Okay. Here look at this verbs again. Closed. Here this word ends with letter D. Closed. Letter D is added to this base form. So the past form of this verb is closed. Then this ends with D. Next is pick. Picked. Here this verb ends with ed. Next is cried. This verb ends with ied. So these are some of the examples of regular verbs. Verbs that talk about actions that have already taken place and end with d, ed or ied, and talk about past actions are called regular verbs in the past tense. You already learned this topic in your previous class. And today we are going to see the definitions of irregular verbs. Okay, please take page number 38. There you can see a passage. Okay, in page number 38 you can see a passage. Okay, listen carefully. Let me read it for you. Once there was a foolish man. One day he saw a little acorn hanging on a big oak tree and a big pumpkin attached to a thin stem. Once there was a foolish man. He saw a little acorn hanging on a big oak tree. Yeah, this is a picture of acorn. It's a fruit of oak tree. Then and a big pumpkin attached to a thin stem. A big pumpkin is attached to a thin stem, and he saw this acorn in a big tree, oak tree. He thought to himself, if I were God, I would have hung a tiny acorn on the thin stem and a huge pumpkin on the big tree. Yeah, look at these pictures. Can you see the difference between these? Yeah. Can you identify the difference between these two pictures? Yeah, this is a small fruit and this one is a big one. And the pumpkin is attached to a thin stem. But this can be seen in a big tree. So the foolish man thought that if I were God, I would have hung a tiny acorn on the thin stem and a huge pumpkin on the big tree. Suddenly an acorn fell on his nose. Soon he realized that if the oak tree had fruit the size of a pumpkin, it would have killed him. Okay. So this is a passage, and here you can see some words in red color, and these are the words saw, thought, hung, fell. Okay, these are the words, and the first word saw is the past form of the verb see. So is the past form of the verb see. Then thought is the past form of the verb think. Hung is the past form of the verb hang. Next, fell is the past form of the verb fall. But they do not. Look at these words again. Saw, thought, hung, fell, and these are the past form of these words. But they do not end with d, ed or id. Okay, these words do not end with d, the letters d, ed or ied. Then these verbs are called irregular verbs. We already saw that regular verbs are ends with d, ed or ied, but these verbs, the irregular verbs, are end with without these letters. Okay, that is a major difference between regular and irregular verbs. Okay, this is the definition. Verbs form the past tense by adding d, ed or ied are called regular verbs. Verbs that talk about past actions but do not end with d, ed or ied are called irregular verbs. Okay, you should learn this definition. Then irregular verbs change form when they are used in the past tense. Irregular verbs change form when they are used in past tense. So it is important to remember the past tense form of these words. Okay, so you should learn the irregular verbs thoroughly. Then now let us look at some examples of irregular verbs. Here you can see some examples of irregular verbs. Okay, I will read some of them. First one, see, and the past form of the verb see is so. So is the past form of the verb see. Then you already learned this, you already saw these words in the previous passage. Hung. Hung is the past form of the verb hang. Then bought is the past form of the verb buy. Caught is the past form of the verb catch. Then took is the past form of the verb take. Then wrote, write, gave, give, led, lead. Okay, these are some examples of irregular verbs. And now we can see a passage here, and you are asked to find the irregular verbs in this passage. Okay, I'll read this passage for you. It is on page number 40. One day Anup found a child crying. Anup was a kind man, so he stopped by to ask the child why she was crying. The little girl replied that she wanted a kite but did not have the money to buy one. Anup took the child to the nearest kite shop and bought her a kite. He felt nice when the little girl smiled. And here you are asked to find the irregular verbs in this passage. Yeah, this is already underlined here. The irregular verbs are found, took, felt, bought. These are examples of some irregular verbs. Some irregular verbs do not change at all when they are used in the past tense. This is another speciality. Some irregular verbs do not change at all when they are used in the past tense. Okay, let us look at some examples. Present. Read. Read this book. And the past form is read. Read this book yesterday. And there is a small difference between the pronunciation of this word. Some irregular verbs do not change at all when they are used in the past tense. Okay, let us look at some examples. Read. Read this book. Okay, read is the irregular verb, and the present form is read this book. Then past form, I read this book yesterday. Then you should listen. The major difference between these two is the pronunciation. Read is the present form, but read is the past form of this verb. Pronunciation is different. First one read, the next is read. Then my leg is hurt, but the past form is same. She hurt in her leg a road accident last week. So some irregular verbs do not change at all when they are used in the past tense, and there is here you can see the difference. But in the case of read, the pronunciation is different. Read is the present form, but you should read the verb past form of the read is read. Now let us do a small activity. It's on page number 41. Question 4. Find the incorrect forms of verbs in the given sentences and rewrite them correctly. You are asked to find the incorrect forms of verbs in these sentences, and you have to rewrite them correctly. First sentence, I take a book from the library last week. I take a book. Yeah, here you are asked to find the incorrect forms of verbs. It is a completed action, so you should use the past form of the verb here. So what is the past form of the verb? Take. Yeah, took is the correct answer. So I took a book from the library last week. Took is the correct answer. Next one, our cricket team win the championship last month. Okay, here the answer is our cricket team won. Okay, the past form of the verb win is won. So our cricket team won the championship last month. Here you first you should find the verb in these sentences, and then you should find the past form of that verb. Next one, the police catch 2 robbers from the railway station. Yes, here catch is the verb, and you should find the past form of the verb catch. The answer is the police caught 2 robbers from the railway station. So caught is the past form of the verb catch. Next one, Rohit ride on an elephant's back yesterday. Here ride is the verb, and you should find the past form of the verb ride. Rode is the correct answer. Rohit rode on an elephant's back yesterday. Next one, she left for Delhi last week. She left. That is the correct answer. She left for Delhi last week. These are the answers of the question 4. And now we are going to find the answers of this crossword puzzle. It is in page number 42 and you are asked to find the answers of this crossword puzzle. Okay. Some clues are already given here. Read the clues and complete the crossword puzzle. That is the question. Clues are already given here. First one, past form of shirt. Yeah, shirt is the, this one is the correct answer. Shirt is the past form of the verb shirt. Past form of grow. Grew is the past form of the verb grow. Past form of draw. Drew is the past form of draw. Then cut. Past form of cut is cut. Then next one, past form of put. Put is the past form. This is a irregular verb. Then past form of here, heard. This is a regular verb. Then win, won, dream, dreamed. Okay, and this is your homework. Page number 41. Question number 3. This is your homework. And today we discussed regular differences between regular and irregular verbs. And I hope today's class is helpful to you. Wish you a good day. Thank you.